You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Have you ever thought, why are my students so anxious? How can I get them to calm down? I'm definitely not a behavior specialist. I wish the teachers didn't think I have a magic wand. I need more tricks up my sleeve than just deep breathing exercises. I wish I could help my students more, but I just don't know how. Well, if you've ever thought any of those thoughts, you are not alone, and you are going to love my training on how to help students break the stress cycle, the anxiety management tool that you didn't learn in grad school. This anxiety management strategy that I'll be sharing has been a complete game changer for me, y'all. It's no surprise that kids are anxious now more than ever, right? And as a counselor, I knew my students struggled with anxiety, but I wanted to offer them more than just the same old deep breathing exercises. But once I started researching the stress cycle and the physiological effects of anxiety back in 2019, I was obsessed. It just made sense to me. Knowing I have the tools to help students self-regulate and return to class ready to learn has allowed me to feel confident and prepared to deal with anxiety. Whatever the reason is that you're looking into this training, I get it, and I want to empower you to help your students. This is a free live training that I'm offering. I don't want you to miss it. You're going to love it, and you're going to learn so much. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about. Go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/stress cycle to save your seat today. And we're offering a few different times so you can find the one that works best for you. Again, it's stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/stress cycle. Okay, let's go to today's episode. You're listening to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. So all month I've been talking about lesson plans, and if you haven't grabbed your freebie lesson plan yet, don't forget it. Go to bit.ly/counseling lesson plans to get your own editable curriculum map with year-long lesson plans for counseling. This month, I've just been taking a little sneak peek of that playbook. I've been grabbing March to kind of show you what it looks like across each tier and some activity ideas that you can do to inspire you to get started right away. But I encourage you to get that freebie. I don't want you to miss it because then you can get all of the lesson plans. So bit.ly/counseling lesson plans, and that freebie will help you have everything you need for the school year every month. So to wrap up March, we've talked about across each tier what lesson, group, and individual counseling you could do. Let's talk about data tools. And a data tool that I love to use in March and just throughout the school year are self-assessments. Now, I briefly touched on self-assessments last week, but I want to give a little rundown of what self-assessments are for those of you who aren't sure. So self-assessments are basically a little quiz you're going to give to students pre and post counseling. So during their first session and during their final session. You're going to get their name and their date, and then you're going to gather some information. So you're going to have statements like, let's, for example, read the one from the academic skills small group, because that was the group that I talked about doing this time of year. So if you're doing an academic skills group, some statements on your self-assessment could look like this. I can identify several test-taking strategies. Yes, maybe, or no. I am prepared for class. Yes, maybe, or no. I know what it means to procrastinate. Yes, maybe, or no. So those are just 3. I recommend doing like 7 to 10 statements, but you're going to see if they know those things. And then in the group or in the individual sessions, you're going to make sure that you're teaching those things. So this is so important to make sure that if you're saying, I know what it means to procrastinate, make sure that you have a session where you talk about procrastination. Now, in that episode, I talked about how you can use a board game to introduce procrastination. So it would be something like that, where you play a board game about procrastination, and then later, during that final post self-assessment, they will then answer, I know what it means to procrastinate, yes, maybe, or no. Hopefully they know what it means. If they did that activity with you, hopefully it helped them better understand what it means to procrastinate. So that's just one example of how you can use a self-assessment, but you really want to make sure that it's aligned to the objective that you're teaching. So I love to kind of sit down and do this part together when I go through and decide what I'm going to cover with the student, each session, the topic we're going to cover. And then you want to make sure that that topic and that learning objective is aligned to the self-assessment statement. That way you can measure it. And the data is so helpful, guys. It's so helpful because I have counselors ask me all the time, well, I have this student I've been seeing for like 15 weeks, or I don't know how to end services, or parents are mad when I stop seeing their kid. And we want to remind parents and students that our role as the school counselor is short-term and solution-focused. So we have measurable goals here. Okay, we're going to see your student for this academic skills group. It's going to be 8 weeks long. We're going to take this pre-test, this pre-self-assessment. Then we're going to do the 8 weeks. Then we're going to do the post. And then you look at the data. It's very simple. Did they improve as a result of the counseling? Yes. Fabulous. Celebrate and graduate. Then move them back down to class lessons. They no longer need the group. Did they not improve? 2 things we can do. Number 1, did everyone in the group not improve? Because let's say everyone didn't know what it means to procrastinate. Well, then maybe we didn't do a good job teaching that part of the lesson. Maybe our activity wasn't very clear and we need to review that skill. But if most of the group understood what it means to procrastinate and this one student didn't, and not just one thing on their self-assessment, but if the majority of their self-assessment doesn't show improvement, then perhaps they need continued counseling via another group or individual. But every decision we're making is data-driven, and I can't explain the importance enough of these data-driven decisions in terms of building your confidence as a school counselor, because it really helps you, speak to the parent or speak to the administrator or the teacher on what your decisions are when you have the data to back you up. Now, I love to do self-assessments. You can do them in paper or digital. Digital is a great way to do them. You can just use a little QR code or have it set up where the kids just come in and input it on your computer, or you can just send them the link and they can fill it out on their own device. But it's the same thing. It's just a better way to organize your data, especially if you use Google Forms. Then you have that option to click on the results tab and it'll auto-populate some like pie charts and stuff for you so you can display your data with ease and use it to show your stakeholders. I have a lot of self-assessments, including templates. I'll link for you guys in the show notes if you want to learn more about self-assessments or check those out. And I want to mention that this whole series where I've been talking about the lesson plans, and then we've been talking about the class lesson, the group, the individual curriculum, and the data tool that I recommend. All of this is included for my Impact members. So if you're an Impact member listening, go download March, click on the links, and you'll have everything you need. If you're not an Impact member and you're like, what is Impact? Impact is my membership for school counselors, and members get access to all of my counseling resources. So everything in my TPT store, they get access to. So if you've been buying things a la carte or, planning and doing a little DIY here and there, mix match, that's what most people are doing. I encourage you to check it out. I think it'll make your life so much easier. We have such an awesome group of counselors inside. And basically what you would do is each month you'd find the lesson plan. It'll tell you what to do and you click on the links and you get to download it right away. So you're like, oh, self-assessments, want those. Class lesson on this, want that. Small group, want that. It's super fun. And then if you don't want to work by the lesson plans, you can just access things by sorting through category, grade level, area of need, things like that. So there's so many benefits. I could go on, but I just wanted to remind you guys that if you're interested in this, if you've liked this podcast series, I know you'll love Impact. So go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/impact to check it out. And guys, before I let you go, I just want to say that I really hope I'll see you today in my training. It's the last chance to sign up. I'll be sharing how you can help students break the stress cycle, the anxiety management tool that you did not learn in grad school. I love this topic. I love this training, and I know you will too. It's going to help you feel confident and prepared to deal with your students who are struggling with anxiety. And you're going to love the technique that I'm going to show you. It's been such a game changer for me. I literally cannot wait. I'm doing it's free, it's live, and I'm giving everyone a free resource and a PD certificate of attendance for showing up. So you don't want to miss it. Go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/stress cycle. It's today and tomorrow. We have a few different times. Pick the one that works best for you. And I really hope I'll see you there. So stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/stress cycle. Okay, see you later.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.